Hey guys, hope you're having a great Saturday so far. Christian Morgan here. I do want to give you an update on where we are and where we plan to go right now as far as the latest advisory on Hurricane Dorian does go. You can tell we're watching. It's still just a monster storm spinning out over the Atlantic. You can tell it's a really strong and well organized storm just by the clarity of that eye, which by the way is about 17 miles wide right now. To put it in perspective for you, that's the distance from Greensboro to High Point. It's about that wide, the eye of the storm. It is maintaining strength at 150 miles an hour winds. That's a Category 4 storm, borderline on a Category 5 storm, but it's been holding steady at that Category 4 throughout the day. It has slowed down just a little bit today, moving west at 8 miles an hour. Like we expected it to do, we still expect it to slow down as it nears Florida as well, almost to a crawl. And it's just a little over 150 miles east of the Bahamas right now, and the pressure is gradually dropping. As far as the latest 8 p.m. advisory, here's the forecast cone. It still keeps it as a Category 4, a lot of agreement on that. And then it brings it up right just off the coast of Florida, and then it wants to make a turn north. Just exactly where it makes that turn north and when it makes that turn north is very crucial and critical and could mean a lot of different scenarios for us here in the Carolinas and the rest of the southeast coast. We has it strengthening to a Category 4, staying a Category 4 I should say, and then gradually weakening to a Category 2 storm as it kind of hugs the coastline and eventually makes it up into the Carolina coast. I did want to show you these. These are what we call spaghetti plots or spaghetti models. They're just a bunch of computer models that spit out different ideas on where they think the best idea of the storm is going to go. There's a lot of consensus that it stays a Category 4 storm, approaches Florida, and then kind of hangs out just off the coast of Florida, if not grazing Florida a little bit, before it does make that turn north. And you can kind of see the models diverge a little bit as it makes that turn, but they all think it's going to make that turn northeast. But does it make it right along the coastline, grazing the coastline, or does it make that turn further out to sea? Of course, we want it to make the turn further out to sea. We're still several days out, so there's still a lot of uncertainty exactly what the track is going to be for the storm. And we really won't know a definite track. We can't really nail down an exact location or pinpoint anything, at least for the next several days. For now, all points along the Outer Banks of North Carolina, along the southeast coast down to Florida, should stay on high alert, have the hurricane plans ready, just in case. You know, it's always better to be on the safe side than on the other side. I do want to show you this one model. This is our European model that does bring Dorian right in up to the Florida coast, but it does keep it off of the coast and then kind of has it hugging the coastline, a slow crawl, and then eventually picking up speed as it does right up the coast of Georgia, South Carolina, and eventually North Carolina. That could be bad for a lot of different reasons. It could stay over water and strengthen, but again, we don't know exactly what's going to happen with that. This is just one scenario. And then there's a couple of different factors that are actually steering Dorian. One of those is a ridge of high pressure that's very strong right now, and that's kind of what's been keeping it turning west. But then as it approaches Florida and does make that turn, that ridge is forecasted to weaken a little bit. Just how much it weakens and where, again, that turn north and when it happens could mean a lot. Here's 3 different scenarios, most likely scenarios right now I want to give you a heads up on. Track 1 has it coming in, making landfall in Florida, then turning up through the central part of Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and eventually into the central part of North Carolina. That would be a worst case scenario for us here in the Triad. That brings a lot of wind, a lot of rain, and a possible isolated tornado threat. The most unlikely scenario right now, as far as we're looking, the most likely scenario right now, based on the models, has it stalling just off the coast of Florida and then making that turn northeast, eventually just kind of grazing the coastline before it grazes the South Carolina and North Carolina coastline. That would be bad news for the North Carolina beaches, the South Carolina beaches. That would bring a stronger threat for wind and rain and a possible isolated tornado there. And then the third scenario, which we all want to happen, we're really hoping this happens. This would be best case scenario for everybody. It does stall just off the coast of Florida and then makes a hard turn northeast back out to sea. That would limit impacts for our coastline and for us here in central North Carolina as well. So 3 possible scenarios. Again, it's hard to nail down exactly which one is going to happen, but that scenario 2 is most likely to happen, where it comes up along the coast and grazes the southeastern coastline. So just a few notes on Dorian as we head through the next several days. It is expected to stay a strong Category 4 storm as it approaches Florida, and then does make that slow turn after it kind of stalls a little bit as it approaches Florida. It then makes that turn north. Again, exactly where that turn happens and when that turn happens is still very uncertain, so we'll have to watch for that. Coastal North Carolina could see rough wind and rough rain if it does stay off the coast. Again, stay alert, be prepared, know your plan if that scenario does play out. And then for us here in the Triad, if we get rain or wind, it wouldn't be until late week. So the rest of your Labor Day weekend is nice. And then the earliest we would see impacts from Dorian would be mainly between the Wednesday to Friday time frame. For now, Enjoy the Labor Day weekend. We keep sunshine in for tomorrow, 85 for your Sunday. Labor Day is nice, 86, lots of sunshine. We stay nice on Tuesday. We warm up a few degrees though into the upper 80s. Then we're back to mid 80s late week, and that's when we think we could see some effects and some impacts from Dorian, mainly that Wednesday to Friday time frame. Good news though, we quiet down and we clear out by next weekend.